Hello. Oh my God. Hello, everybody. How are you doing? I am trying something a little bit different today. So I thought I would start sharing a bit of the journey every day. Not mega lives. Although having said that, I am doing my my kind of content and cocktails is back for the first time in about a year this evening, although it is going to be non-alcoholic cocktails. So there we go. Yeah, I am going live regularly again because I miss it. I used to do this religiously pretty much every day, and last year I didn't do much of it, and I missed it, frankly. So I thought I had a crack at it last year, doing a morning show, which I really liked, but it wasn't massively sustainable, to be quite honest, and I found it possibly more exhausting than it really needed to be. I'm an early riser anyway, but it was the kind of getting up and doing lives at that hour was quite full on. But I thought I would share a little bit of what I'm doing every day, the journey. To sort of possibly paint a picture of what's going on in my sort of my work life, because it's sometimes useful to hear what other people are doing and kind of get a sense of how we progress through this business world. But also kind of, I know I put a post out a few days ago sort of talking about the fact that I've recently had after many years of going down a road of exploring it, I've recently had a full formal ADHD diagnosis and have started on the medication. I was reluctant to talk about it, I think, because I think there comes a certain amount of stigma with kind of whenever you talk about anything sort of health related, but particularly when you're talking about sort of mental health stuff. But I had such a massive reaction and such a positive reaction to that post that I put out, just sort of sharing that little bit of information. It wasn't a sort of a kind of an attempt to sort of garner sympathy or anything like that. It was just, I wondered if anybody else was having a similar experience. And actually, what was really interesting was the amount of people who sort of popped into my messenger and was sort of saying how, talking to me about their experiences, which was really encouraging and actually sort of very heartening to sort of see a lot of people either sort of getting to grips with it or on that journey. So I thought I'd sort of share a bit of the professional, a bit of the personal, and kind of try and walk that line. So where are things at the moment? So currently at the moment, my life is very busy, and it has been for a couple of years for a couple of reasons. The first being that my children go to school about 25 miles up the road. So every day I'm doing a huge school run, about 100 and a bit miles every day. And the inevitable knock-on of that is that I have to sort of juggle my working day so that I'm getting everything done around this kind of block of time which is taken out, because it's in total it's about 3 hours of my day which gets taken out on the school run. Now, that's not to say that I feel like it's a bad thing. It's not. I really love the time I get to spend with my kids. Una, my wife, is kind of working a sort of full-time, I would say, traditional job. She's working works for an organisation called the Centre for Sustainable Healthcare, which is a fantastic charity. She's up in Oxford today, kind of on a team day. But what that means is that my professional time has to be very structured. And what's been really interesting with the sort of step into the whole kind of dealing with the ADHD stuff through the medication has been that obviously radically improved focus, which is great. That's brilliant. But it's allowed me to step into this year with not only a sort of renewed sense of purpose, but a real kind of commitment to the goals and objectives I've got going set for this year. So, as you may or may not know, I end of last year, so in the last quarter of last year, set up a new business with Chantal Davison. So we have AI Survival Skills. Now, AI Survival Skills is designed to help business owners integrate these rapidly emerging AI technologies into their day-to-day business practice for saving time and making more money. And you know, these tools have been an absolute lifesaver over this last year. In fact, I would not have been able to sustain what I'm doing in the way I've been doing it with these, you know, the kind of the time pressures and constraints of all the additional kind of travel that I'm doing without these tools. And that's been a really sort of fantastic set of tools in my toolkit. And off the back of that sort of very sort of developed personal practice, and you know, also a deep professional interest in the technology, something that I've been interested in for a very long time, on a sort of not recreational level, but sort of, you know, keeping my eyes very closely on the professional developments of within my sector, within the video production sector. With AI, it seemed like a really natural step. So I've got the AI Survival Skills. We've also separated out a sort of a separate identity of the video side of things called Podforge. Now, Podforge is dedicated to creating podcasts. So we are producing weekly podcasts for entrepreneurs, charities, small business. And it's a done for you service. It's designed to we mentor you through the setup and launch process, and it is about getting podcasts up and out there, because podcasts can seem like a pretty sort of difficult hills to climb when it comes to content creation. And I know a lot of people love creating podcasts and have had kind of make podcast as a kind of a task on their list for a very long time. But also I've got the traditional video side of what we do. So there are these three elements that are nicely in balance and all very complement each other. But what this kind of multi-entrepreneurial sort of, I mean, it sounds ridiculous to say, but what this kind of multi sort of business approach requires is very sort of clear delineation between the different areas, because you can very quickly find yourself basically having this sort of very confusing bleed through of lots of different offers, and you have to sort of be very careful about how you present all this stuff. So what I want these short daily lives to be about is sort of taking you through the things I'm doing each day on kind of each of the parts of the business. So currently for my video clients, I am working on a bunch of edits. So I'm just finishing off a very small edit, few final edits for Nicola Lutz, who I've been doing some virtual testimonials for, which have been lovely. I'm finishing editing the first of a batch of video testimonials for Nick Sears as well. So you may know J. Nicole Smith, fantastic business. We've got some shoots planned. We've got a shoot plan with her at the start of, well, with Catherine Morgan start of March in Jersey. So I'm going to be going over to Jersey to do a bit of filming with Catherine Morgan, and we've been, I've got some second stage changes to make to that video. So we've got the editing part. So I'm putting 4 hours of my day is going to go into editing, and that's probably actually going to be the bulk of what I'm doing today, because we sort of Thursdays is a video day, so I try to be very purposeful with my division of time. So Tuesdays and Thursdays I'm working solely on the kind of me personally working solely on the video side of stuff. Now I've got other people editing for me, and they're working in on sort of bringing projects to the point where I can then step in and do the sort of the kind of, I can bring my eye to it and bring my sort of look and feel and experience to the projects. But it's sort of I'm taking a Renaissance painter's attitude towards this, in as much that I will have, I've got people to help me with the kind of the basic stuff, chopping up footage, choosing the best shots, doing the kind of the stuff that you kind of need to do, and then I sort of step in at the final section where I can do the fine tuning. I can look and check the story over, make sure that the cuts are all working nicely, make sure the music's nice, and do all the stuff that kind of that kind of works for the clients. So I'm doing that on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So Fridays I do podcast stuff. I have a Mondays and Fridays are Mondays is a split day because I have to, and we'll get on to why in a second. But Fridays, Wednesdays and Fridays are purely podcasting. So I do all of my podcasting edits for the week, and we get those edited, uploaded, and kind of set up and scheduled. I always like to try and keep at least a few. We kind of try and have 4 weeks in hand, a month of podcasts in hand at any given time, so that there's always a good buffer zone for everyone's podcast. But the balance of these things is really important. So the video side of stuff, the podcasting side of stuff. I mean, the great thing is I'm nowhere near capacity, which is wonderful. So I'm kind of just able to be expanding things out and still have lots of time to do the growth stuff. Now, with the AI survival skills, we have our mastermind training on a Monday. So that's when Chantel and I deliver a training. And obviously Chantel and I have on Monday morning, we have like a sort of strategy get together where we'll set the goals for the week. We will determine what we want to achieve in the business in terms of either content creation. We'll check our plans and make sure we're on course with things, and then we'll deliver our training. And then in the afternoon, we'll do any kind of work that's come out of the mastermind session. And this week, I've been setting up the practicalities for us starting our podcast. So Chantel and I are going to be starting our own podcast, which is quite exciting. So that's going to be the AI Survival Skills podcast. And I will then treat that as a podcasting client. So that will be then sort of edited on Wednesday and Friday. So we have these 3 parts. And so every day I'm trying to set aside a little bit of time to make sure I'm doing the kind of promotional work, or the marketing, or the strategic work, or the tactical stuff to move each business forward. Now, once I get to the revenue targets that I've set, then I'm going to be bringing people in. So what I've done with this is I've basically just taken everything that I had, taken it back down to basics, and rebuilt from there, and feel infinitely happier about things. I think over the pandemic years, I built something, and it was frankly a little bit jerry-rigged. I'd sort of grabbed some training from here and there and had some good mentoring, and but hadn't perhaps done the fundamental stuff. And I don't know if any of you can sort of that resonates with anybody. You kind of look at the business and think it feels sometimes like it's held together with duct tape. And I think I'd got to that feeling probably, if I'm honest, at the start of last year, but was kind of a little bit frazzled to do anything about it. So over the second half of last year, I spent some time sort of kicking stuff down and realizing actually that some of the things I was teaching, certainly in the Video Academy side of things, needed to be revisited with all of these rapidly developing AI tools in mind. So there's been a significant bit of rebuilding going on. What has been absolutely fascinating has been sort of once I've taken that step to sort of rebuild, things have started to sort of click into place. I've started wherever possible outsourcing things, outsourcing tasks. So at the moment, I'm trying only to, as everyone always says, focus on the stuff that you're good at and get other people to do the stuff you're not at. And sometimes for us in the entrepreneurial space, it can be very difficult to give up parts of the business because you're always sort of looking at thinking, well, like I could do that myself. And yeah, you could, but you'll probably do it quite badly. And it may not be as effective as getting somebody who's a skilled professional in to do it. So I'm currently sort of looking at all parts of this and sort of rebuilding. So I've just had the branding done. The branding done for Podforge in December. The website will be, the first iteration of the website will be in my hot, sweaty hands in the next couple of days. And so we will, all being well, we should have the website launched by the end of next week. So the official Podforge website and all associated sort of social media channels will be up and running. That is much more of an agency approach. So I will be, that is kind of not a personal brand. And sort of all of this sits under the banner of sort of Tom Stanhope, who that is me, that is I. I will be the sort of steward of all of this, but I will be looking to sort of, as these grow and as we expand, to be kind of taking a more kind of growth mindset attitude to all of it. Where I'm sort of swapping out me for other people as fast as possible, whilst ensuring quality. And the one thing I am doing as I go along is building the processes up so that they are, documented. I'm documenting the way I am doing things and building it so that anybody who's stepping into these roles knows precisely how I want it for for the clients and how we get the best results. So there's some really exciting stuff, and I'm sort of going to share that journey with you. I'm just going to see if there's anybody chipping in over on the old Facebook. Oh, it was a message from Chantel. Yeah, so I sort of, so what's interesting actually is how do you communicate with multiple, because obviously I'm down in Plymouth, Chantel's up in Hastings, so we're sort of, we're a good sort of 4 and something hours away from each other. WhatsApp and Zoom have been, the absolute kind of, they're the glue of this venture. And obviously we have the support of our various partners in kind of, Una and in my case, and Justin in Chantel's case. And we've got, they bring very different skills to our kind of, to our sort of our worlds. But hopefully that gives you a bit of a sense of where things are and what I've been up to. But I've just sort of, I've had an interest. So the online space is a weird space to be in, and you may well be sort of one of those people who is inevitably, I mean, if you're in the sort of online sort of digital products and teaching space, you will have come across Russell Brunson and ClickFunnels inevitably. But I've sort of, I don't know why, I'd always sort of dismissed in a slightly ridiculously snobbish way the sort of slightly overblown marketing stuff. But I finally got round, over the last few months, I've been reading his kind of his series of books. It started off with .com Secrets, and then it's Expert Secrets, which I'm reading. But I also read Traffic Secrets before that, and I have to say they're really bloody good. And I was really surprised. They're sort of, I find the writing style slightly annoying, and it's quite workmanly. You're not reading high art, but what I'm coming to realize is that pretty much every single person I've learned from, there's all of this stuff is contained in here. So it's been really interesting to read that. So I thought I'd kind of share that sort of journey. Now I know, there are plenty of people going out there who've already looked at it and maybe sort of gone through it and dismissed it. But I'd sort of suggest that my slightly dismissive attitude was entirely ill-founded, and I'm very glad to say that that I sort of I picked it up and started reading and thought, actually, this has got some good information in it. So it goes really nicely alongside a lot of the other stuff that I've learnt from other people over the years, and it's all very actionable and very sort of, you know, useful when it comes to me doing what I'm doing, because there are some of the businesses in this mix which I'm trying to obviously depersonalize, because, you know, depersonalized businesses are, you know, ultimately I can't be everywhere all at once. So I have to have, there are parts of this process where I cannot be the sort of the ringmaster. I have to be a manager effectively. Hello, Scott. Scott's just there we go. Tell me about it. I'm telling you all about it. so yeah, so I thought I'd just, you know, share bits of this journey as I go along, and sort of tell you what I'm reading, what I'm learning. And actually, one of the things that really hit home and is why I'm doing this live today, and why I'll be doing a lot more of it. It's this restating of this piece, this truth that I know. The more I'm seen, and the more I'm heard, and the more people understand what I'm doing and why I'm doing it, the more I sell, frankly. It is as simple as that. Now, I love being here, and I love chatting, and I love kind of sharing what's going on, but it is part of this process. And actually the restatement of the kind of, you need to be being seen every day, as exhausting as it can sound, and as scary as it can be sometimes, particularly if you've had a slightly difficult run of things, stepping back into this kind of visible space is sometimes a little bit daunting. But yeah, it's here, it's now, and that's what I'm doing. So I will be live at 8 o'clock tonight for Content and Cocktails. It will be an alcohol-free Content and Cocktails, because of the new the new medication I'm on means that I cannot either drink alcohol or caffeine, or at least, well, I can, but it quite badly interferes with the way the medicine, what the drugs work. So, you know, I thought, well, it's a good opportunity to start living my life a bit more sensibly. I'm also doing, oh my god, it's punishing. I'm doing, or at least attempting to do, this 75 hard challenge. Now, a customer that runs a guy called Phil, who runs a company called Flyform in Cardiff, put me onto this and invited me to try this about 2 years ago. I lasted about 5 days last time, and then thought, bugger this, I'm not doing this, and I stopped doing it. But I thought, you know, the idea is that you have these kind of, I think it's 6 or so tasks each day to do, and you know, one of them, you know, two bouts of 45-minute exercise a day, one of which has to be outside, no alcohol, stick to a diet plan, reading 10 pages of a non-fiction book each day, and drinking like an American gallon, so it's not quite so, but drinking a gallon of water each day. But I have done it now for a week and a half. I'm getting into shape, I'm losing weight, and my life is now just divided between the times that I'm drinking water and the times that I'm running to the loo. So, you know, it's that everyone in the family is very fed up with me drinking this much water, but I feel great, and it's really working very nicely in concert with this kind of sort of ADHD medication, because exercise is good for you. So I'm sort of doing all of this stuff. I thought I'd do it all at once, and I've got the energy, and if I can manage to sustain it in January, then frankly the rest of the year should be a doddle. So I've been getting up at 5 o'clock and going for my run, because I have to get up that early to fit it all into the day, and I feel great. I'm very, 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 very sanctimonious about it. I feel not sanctimonious, virtuous. I don't feel sanctimonious at all. I don't think I've ever been sanctimonious in my life. Virtuous is what I feel. It is borderline insanity, but we'll see how long I last. But I've managed 10 days so far. So there we go. So I will see you for an alcohol-free content and cocktails this evening. And it will be lovely to catch you at 8 o'clock. And yeah, take care. See you later. Bye-bye.